people, we are looking at the complications of fracture. So if you remember, we have finished this systemic complications we have finished. Then we started off with local complications. In local complications, you have already looked at immediate complications, early complications, that is nerve injury, vessel injury, visceral injury, muscle tendon joint injury, all that you looked at. Then you looked at infection which will lead to osteomyelitis and contracture, etc. No, not contracture, what was that? Pyogenic arthritis, all that you looked at. Then compartment syndrome also you looked at. Then you looked at this delayed union, non-union, malunion, all this you have looked at. You looked at the types of all these also, right? Now we have to continue here, guys. So we have to continue with this: shortening, avascular necrosis, joint stiffness, Sudeck's dystrophy, ischemic contraction, myositis ossificans. This much we will look at, okay? All these are specific terminologies. If you notice, avascular necrosis, that can be a separate question by itself. Sudeck's dystrophy can be a separate question. What is myositis ossificans can be a separate question for you, right? So let's get started. Shortening. Let's get started with shortening, okay? So basically all this malunion and all can lead to shortening. Okay, one of the causes of shortening will be malunion. The other can be because of crushing. So actual bone loss can be there, or there is a growth defect itself. Okay, some growth plate injury. Growth plate injury. So basically there is a Salter-Harris classification of epiphyseal injuries that if you refer to, then you will understand growth plate injury types. But I am thinking you don't need all this for explaining all this. You understood, right? There is a shortening because of growth plate injury. Anyways, if it is upper limb, it doesn't matter much. But if it's lower limb, then you will have to give some treatment. Like if it is less than 2 centimeter, then you can just give some shoes, etc., which can be a little taller than normal, right? Understood, guys? So upper limb, they are not bothered much. But if it is lower limb, they can give a shoes. How to draw a shoe? I know how to draw a shoe. Something like this is a shoe. So they will give a adjustable shoe to maintain, if it's less than 2 centimeter difference, they will give that kind of shoe. Shortening more than 2 centimeter, then what they will do, they will compensate it by, again, shoes only in elderly people. But in youngerly people, what they can do, you cannot always wear shoe, isn't it? Sometimes you have to live without wearing shoes. So for those people, what they will do, they'll have to do some correction of the angulation, right? They'll have to correct this angle, guys. Angulation correct they will do, or overlap. If there is an overlap, that also they will correct. Angle they'll correct, or overlap they will correct by operative method. Limb length equalization procedure. So easy. What's the procedure? Limb length equalization procedure. Correct the angle, correct the overlap. That's it. Do you want me to write all that here? Correct the angle, overlap. What else is there? Limb length equalization. Okay. Then, did we tell you about shoes? Shoes too you can give if it is a small difference or if it is elderly people. Okay, then coming to avascular necrosis, we are moving to avascular necrosis. So necrosis means what? Some dead tissue. Cell injury, irreversible. Avascular, no proper blood supply. So blood supply of these bones can become jeopardized, so there can be necrosis. Where will you usually see this? Common sites they are telling you here, especially in the head of the femur. That's what they have shown in the photo also, head of femur. Especially if there is a fracture of the neck of the femur, if there is posterior dislocation of hip, etc. So there will be the avascular necrosis of the head of femur. Then scaphoid. Where's the scaphoid, guys? I know only one scaphoid in the wrist. Talus, body of the talus. Talus is your foot, isn't it? So there can be necrosis. So necrosis can be femur, scaphoid and talus. Okay, that much you remember. So what will happen if there is necrosis? Deformation. Yes, this will lead to deformation. See, whenever they talk about some fracture complication, no, finally that will lead to deformity only, right? Then, how will you diagnose this? Pain, stiffness is rather late actually. Early itself, what can you see? Radiological images, you can see sclerosis of the necrotic area. Okay? Deformity of the bone. After all these radiological findings only, all this pain and stiffness can start. Okay, so what are the early ones? Sclerosis, you can see. Deformity, you can see. Osteoarthritis, you can see, right? Osteoarthritis supervenes and this will give rise to diminished joint space. Okay, there will be diminished joint space, osteophytes, etc. then only you will get all this pain and stiffness. How will you treat this avascular necrosis, guys? You have to delay weight bearing. Don't lift too much weight. Revascularization you should do. Why you should do revascularization? Because the whole thing is avascular. So you want to revascularize. Delay weight bearing. Revascularize. Then what else? Excision of the avascular segment. So you will excise the avascular segment and then you will replace that segment with some prosthesis. Or you can do some total joint replacement. Okay. So this is avascular necrosis, guys. So in this photo they are showing you the avascular necrosis of the femoral head after a neck fracture. So neck fracture came, then avascular necrosis came. Now they have fixed it with screws, which you are able to see here. So what are you seeing here? Finally the fixing thing there you're seeing here. So femoral head, what happened? Fracture of the femoral neck fracture has happened. Then avascular necrosis has happened, that they have fixed with screws. So that's what you're seeing in this photo. Okay. So now we are done with avascular necrosis. Next point to cover is joint stiffness, guys. So stiffness of joint, what will you expect in this? Why do you think there will be stiffness, guys, of the joint? Because of some adhesions possibly, right? Contracture of the muscles. Adhesions, contracture of muscle, right? Then there can be tethering of muscle at fracture sites, like quadriceps adhesion to the fracture of the femoral shaft. Tethering of muscle. Okay, so example for that is the muscle adhesion to the fracture of the femoral shaft. Then the other cause is myositis ossificans. We have to still look at what this is. Okay, so what will happen if there's a stiff joint? You can't do normal activity, all that you will, right? How will you treat? Heat therapy. Oh, nice. So let's write that here. Treat heat therapy like wax bath, diathermy, hot fomentation, exercises. Then you'll have to manipulate joint under anesthesia. Surgical intervention also you might have to do, like if there is adhesions. Okay. Surgical you will do to remove adhesion. Then to excise any bone block. So they are trying to remove something. That bone block might have been acting like a door stopper. So they are trying to remove that bone block. Guys, did you get it? Is it going too much? There's a door. For the door, you'll keep a block so that the door can't open, right? Like that, they are talking about a bone, which is a bone block. So they will excise that. That's it. Okay. Then you will, if there's some muscle which is contracted, you can extend that muscle. Lengthen contracted muscle. Contracted muscle, you will lengthen. Then joint replacement also you can do. Joint replacement. Okay. So we have completed this one. Joint stiffness we have completed. Next we have to go to Sudeck's dystrophy. See, basically what this is also called as, it is also called as Sudeck's atrophy, or it is also called as reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Basically here what happens in the example of Cole's fracture they have explained here, you can see there is pain, okay, which is out of proportion to the trauma. So what is happening here, there is dysfunction of the central and peripheral nervous system. Why is all this happening? Because of the dysfunction of the central and peripheral nervous system. They have shown you here the photo. In Cole's fracture, you can see severe nature of demineralization and rarefaction in the cancellous areas of the bone. Okay. So these people will have pain, hyperesthesia, tenderness, swelling, skin will be red, shiny, warm. Okay. There will be atrophy of the skin, muscles, nails at a later stage, joint deformities, etc. So basically what will you see in the X-ray? Spotty rarefaction. It is difficult to explain why, what is happening and why it's happening. So, but what are the treatments that they will do? Sympathetic blocks they may give, okay? So basically you will have to give physiotherapy and you'll have to be very patient, so that the patient will recover. So that's what they have told here. Why is it happening? Because of catecholamines, norepinephrine, exaggerated inflammation, immune response. So there'll be burning pain, skin temperature changes, all this we told you. How will you check? You will check for demineralization in the X-ray. You will check for increased uptake in nuclear bone scan. How will you treat this? What are we looking at, guys? Sudex dystrophy. Basically, you will give opiates as painkiller, is it? Anti-inflammatory, antidepressants, because the patient is worried or what? Anti-epileptics. Why? Calcitonin, corticosteroids. Interventional therapy, we told you physiotherapy, psychotherapy, sympathetic nerve block is the main one you can write, okay? Spinal cord stimulation, intrathecal drug pump. Intrathecal means where is it going? That's more like the CSF part, right? So that's it, guys. We are done with yet another complication of fractures. So now we are done with Sudex dystrophy. What's the next one, guys, to read? What do you think? Last one, guys. Myositis ossificans. Let's look at this. Myositis ossificans, basically ossification of the hematoma around the joint. So what is ossifying? The hematoma. Okay. So this is called as post-traumatic ossification. Post-traumatic ossification. It is the ossification of hematoma. Okay. One textbook is saying it is ossification of hematoma. The other textbook is saying it is ossification of muscle. Basically, they are saying that the periosteum is getting peeled off from the bone. Okay. Especially in children, this periosteum is very mildly adherent to the bone. So it can completely get peeled off. Okay. That is in severe trauma, what will happen? This periosteum can get peeled off. Okay. And then there is ossification or calcification of the muscle. Some people are saying muscle, some people are telling hematoma. Yeah. Then what happens, especially this is an elbow joint, you can see this. And what they are telling is if you massage following trauma, it is aggravating myositis. Okay, that's what you should remember. Myo, I think it refers to muscle, so we should go with the muscle, right? Muscle. So ossification or calcification occurring within a muscle following injury. They are saying that the brachialis muscle is commonly affected. This is a complication that will improve the, impair the movement and stiffness. Obviously, it will cause stiffness of the elbow. That you can see here, elbow, right? So how will you treat this? You should not massage the injury. Okay. Early stages, you will have to rest the limb. Don't massage it. Rest it. Give NSAID. Okay. Then what you will do? Physiotherapy. Same thing. Then, if there is some lot of problem, then you'll have to do surgical excision, guys. So what they're saying is when this myositis is in acute form, acute condition, no, don't do anything. Just leave it, let it settle down, kind of a thing they're saying. Okay. If you intervene when it is an acute or active phase, then it will aggravate the condition. Once it subsides, once the mass lies dormant, then you can surgically remove it. That's it. And then you'll give physiotherapy, etc. Let's write that here. Do not massage trauma after trauma. Do not intervene in active acute myositis. Once it settles down, what will you do? Are you able to see what I am writing? Once it settles down, you will surgically excise that growth. Then you will do physiotherapy. Okay. You will relieve the stiffness. That's it. So myositis ossificans. So I am thinking it is the ossification of the muscle. Okay. So we are done with the last complication that we wanted to look at in complication of fractures. That is myositis ossificans, guys. So what else we have to write here, So we had to look at shortening, avascular necrosis, joint stiffness, Sudex dystrophy, osteomyelitis. You just blame Staph aureus, okay, for all the problems. Staph aureus. Then ischemic contracture, because of the ischemia there can be contracture. Myositis ossificans, we just looked at this. The muscle is ossifying, kind of a thing, right? Osteoarthritis you have already looked at, isn't it? Pyogenic arthritis, etc. Arthritis is what about the joint, isn't it? So that's it, guys. We have looked at the complications of fractures. Systemic, we looked at shock, hemorrhage, hemorrhagic shock, acute respiratory distress syndrome, fat embolism, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism. Then we looked at crush syndrome because of myohemoglobin, then aseptic traumatic fever, septicemia we looked at. All these are systemic problems that you have to manage. Most of these will be in the early and immediate situation. Coming to local complications, immediate you'll have injuries to everything on earth like vessels, nerve, muscle, tendon, joints, viscera, etc. Early, then you saw there can be infection compartment syndrome. Late, there can be delayed union, delayed union, non-union, malunion. Others can be shortening, avascular necrosis, joint stiffness, Sudeck's dystrophy, osteomyelitis, ischemic contracture, myositis ossificans, osteoarthritis. So you have looked at a lot of things in this video, guys. Bye-bye.